Hey, just shaking everybody. Hey, it's been a minute, but been wanting to get a video out this week. But been working on a few things and applying for jobs, and hopefully got an interview set up next week. But things are going good. I just want to make a quick video and say hi. I love you. Hope everybody's doing good. If it's not going so good, it will. I, I've been sitting here thinking, had some time to actually breathe and stop, smell the roses, and this has been an amazing couple of weeks. Um, this is a break I seriously needed. Didn't realize, and I started getting visions before I was laid off that I was going to be laid off, that I was going to need to, stick it out for a few months. I wasn't going to get a job right away. I was going to reconnect, sit in my purpose, and then start going. And I get nervous before I make these videos, and I'm Gen X. We hide. We don't want to find close group of friends, family, and of course I love meeting people, but I'm still a recluse in a lot of ways. Been in hermit mode for about 5 years now. With epilepsy, I can't drive. And, I'm still having focal seizures every day. But they're getting a little less and less, not as intense. So things are improving. I am healed. I am changed my life. So I want to say thank you for that one. No, but I did want to throw something in here about visions, about seeing things. I know a lot of people out there have seen, understood things that they don't know why. It's real. You know, and this is a time for us to wake up and help each other. And I wanted to talk about a very specific vision that I had years ago. It changed my life. I was 22, got out of a relationship, about 2 year relationship. Just started cutting hair. Was a licensed barber for about 10 years. But I started cutting hair around 96, 97. And, that relationship didn't work out. I was ready to do something else, didn't know what. And my buddy and I and another girlfriend that we had, Jennifer, we were just a group of friends, hung out. Although I know she really liked Josh. That was my homie. Um, she was just cool, very very light, very spiritual person, and we all just wanted to travel and experience life. And at the time, he decided to take a break. He said he didn't want to go with us. He didn't want to go on a trip, and he disappeared down to Florida for a while. I think I talked to him for a couple months, but she and I we were going to go on the road, and so the weekend before we were hanging out in his basement, playing Risk and smoking really cheap, crappy weed. I was saying 22, and there was a birthday party that Jennifer was having in her house. Her family was having one, and we didn't know. She always inviting us to these things, and we would, oh yeah, yeah, that sounds cool. We can go, and then we'd be hanging out and relaxing and talking, listening to music, playing games, whatever. And some told me I had to go. It was strong and very just visual. Like I felt like I was being pushed there, and the future of my life, the direction and everything that I wanted was here. I just needed to go. And so I said, you know what, man, let's go. So we kind of sobered up a little bit. Weren't drinking, but smoked a little bit. And we went, and immediately I knew something. I felt like I was being pushed to meet this girl. And I see this little girl running around in the yard when we pulled up, maybe 2, 3 years old, just big eyes. And oh man, it's such a beautiful little girl. And see her out there playing, and there was 15, 20 people in the front yard, and you're just hanging out, talking, smoking cigarettes, and get out the car, and ball comes rolling up. So I picked it up, and I go hand it to this young lady, and found out that was her mother. And I was immediately struck by this child. Like, she's innocent, and she's light. She needs to be protected. And I didn't know the situation. Somebody there could have been her dad. I didn't know half of the people. I knew my friend Jennifer. I knew her sisters, maybe some other family friends, but that was about it. And we were there for maybe half an hour, 45 minutes. I'm an old ratty Bob Marley T-shirt. It was one of my favorites, but it had some holes in it. But we just locked eyes for a quick second, and we were getting ready to leave, and I suddenly saw her in a wedding dress, and it was our wedding. We were dancing, and I left. Myself and Jennifer, and my little Honda Civic was packed up, and we drove to travel to every state west of Missouri, except Colorado. We went all around, went up north, went up, got into South Dakota, North Dakota, Wyoming, Utah. We were up in Seattle, went up into Vancouver, took the whole coastal highway all the way down to San Diego, came back through the south. And it's an amazing trip. Hanging out in Sedona. At the time I've been reading this book called The Celestine Prophecy. And amazing story. It's fiction, but it's written from a perspective of spirituality and energy, the energy we all have in us, and plants, and just all the energy around us, and how we can interact and work with it. How you can feel it, you can see it in certain power centers in the world. One of those was Sedona. And it really hit me there. I climbed up, was sitting on top of this just flat red rock butte, and just overlooking the canyons. And I'd never seen anything like that other than a picture. Still wasn't on the internet back then. Didn't want it. You know, I'm Gen X, so even making these videos is really strange for me. We try to stay hidden. Most of us do anyway. But when I came back, and I was gone for about 2 months, and got back day after Halloween. In about a week, I didn't call her. And got back to work and make sure my car payment and my beeper was paid for. I think there was only bills I had. Just living in Mama's basement. But planning on saving up money and moving out. And I thought, I'll give it a week, settle in, and then I'll reach out to her if she's still interested. And she started calling me and said, "Oh, I heard you're back in town." And so, long story short, we started dating very quick. I think we were engaged. I proposed to her about a month and a half into the relationship, and just knew that's what I wanted. And this little girl needed a father. Dad was kind of involved because since he had to pay child support, he suddenly felt that he was paying to visit the child, pretty much. So a lot of court battles and things they went through, and I was buying diapers for her just to help her out. Her mom and dad were great. They're still great. But she lived with them, and thought, it's a family. It's a perfect start. And then found out she was pregnant with our son, Adam. It was born with a lot of complications, and watched one of my other videos. Said he passed away in 2013. We've had 4 amazing kids total, and just being able to see them grow and live, and they're generally good people. They do stupid things. Got one that likes to argue with people online. Don't burn the energy on that. But she's 20, and I did a lot of the same things when I was 20. Only it was in person. So, and if you've seen me, I'm about as skinny as it gets. Seizures and epilepsy cost me a few pounds, but I've been pretty skinny my whole life. So, yeah, that reactionary mindset didn't work out for me sometimes. Sometimes it did. I want a few, but no more of that. Living in peace, light, love, and just want to give out as much as I can. I really wanted to get this story out, and trying to figure out how to frame it. I'm kind of all over the place, but I've got so much going through my head right now, and it's been an amazing journey. But I got everything that I asked for. I got the stable family, loving wife. We've been married 27 years in October. And our 4 kids. The youngest is 20. Should be 21 next March. Its oldest will be 30 in next month. Dang, time goes, man, it goes fast. That's all right. This is a journey. But I just want to say, when you get these nudges, you get these strong and feelings. Sometimes it's pure visions. Something's communicating with you, trying to tell you. good or bad. You know? And yes, there are bad things out there. There are dark entities that try to communicate to you too. You can usually tell them because you're suddenly putting all the very bad things that you're doing or gonna do or you have done, and tries to make you get back into that and surround yourself with these kind of people and do things that are gonna hurt you, at least derail you, take you off your purpose. And a lot of us have a purpose. There are karmics in this life. I said in my one of my videos, oh, I'm deep in enemy camp, fully surrounded. The light shining, and the darkness scatters. Shadows are gone. Working through my own shadow, my own reactionary. Actually killed a real demon. That was a year ago, right after waking up. I was told I was going to do it. But I'll save that story for another day because I got a lot more. But hey, I thank you. Anybody that watches, and if it helps you in any way, that's great. Talk. Throw something in the comments. Hey, you got a favorite song? You got something cool? Hey, love to talk about it. Don't care what it is. Just want to say thank you, and man, have a blessed, have an amazing day.